Jaguars versus Texans for first place in the AFC South. Let's get it. Now, before we get into this preview, quick word from this video sponsor, BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
So the Jaguars started off this week as a 1-point favorite against the Texans. However, that line is now shifted to the Jaguars being 1.5-point favorites. So if this is something that you guys may be interested in getting in on, look, right now is an awesome opportunity because between November 23rd and 26th is Black Friday. And instead of your typical 125% deposit bonus, BetUS is offering a 150% deposit bonus between those times. So guys, if you guys want to make Thanksgiving a little bit more interesting, there's 3 different games going on, all different kinds of props over there. You can put a little bit of money on this game, that game, whatever you want. And look, there's fast payouts within 24 hours. So you can go put some money, get some money back the next day, and go to Best Buy and get whatever kind of thing you want, or whatever you guys want to spend on Black Friday, whatever you guys want to do. Look, everything is available for you guys. So with all that said, Jaguars 1.5-point favorites. At the very end of this game, we're going to go get into my prediction for this game. And this big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into this preview. So the Jaguars are currently 7-3. And look, through 10 games, that is a really, really awesome record. Look, we're tied for second best record in the AFC. Of course, the Ravens right now are 8-3. The Chiefs are 7-3, and the Jaguars are 7-3. So, yeah, we're in a really, really good spot. And this is probably where a lot of Jaguar fans might have expected us to be before the season. A lot of us had high hopes. But the thing that we did not believe was that at this moment, at 7-3, we're going to be going to Houston and playing the Texans for a shot at the number one, basically first place in the AFC South. Look, this game, it's huge, huge stakes because if the Jaguars win this game, they're 2 games ahead of the Texans. They also will own the tiebreaker, so it's basically like 2.5 games. The Texans would essentially have to get like a 3-game jump on the Jaguars with, after this, I think there's like 6 games left. So it would be kind of almost virtually impossible for the Texans to really get that AFC South title. However, if the Jaguars lose, then they're tied with the same record, but the Texans will have the tiebreaker. So the Jaguars are going to have to not only basically win a bunch of games, but also hope for, the Houston Texans to stumble a little bit. And when you look at their record, or when you look at the rest of their schedule, it is actually very favorable to the Texans. So right now, yeah, when you look at this season, this is the biggest game of the season right now. This is by far the biggest game of the season right now because this would get so much distance between us and the Texans. And the second biggest game of the season just wound up happening in week 3 when the Jaguars got smoked by the Texans. And look, the Texans in that game, the Jaguars were sleeping that game. It was clear. Look, the Texans were going to that game 0-2. The Jaguars were 1-1 after the Chiefs game. The Jaguars almost went into that game looking pretty lethargic, and it looked like they weren't playing with a team that was as desperate as the Houston Texans. And since that game, look, the Jaguars are 6-1 since dropping to the Texans, and the Texans just happen to be 6-2 since starting off the season at 0-2. So I do think that the loser of this game still makes the playoffs because I think both teams are pretty good. But man, getting the opportunity to win the AFC South, not only do you get to be division titles, but you also get to host a playoff game. And for the Jaguars right now, we're fighting for seeding. Look, if you win this game, we're kind of looking past the AFC South and we're saying, okay, let's get that number 1 seed. But if they lose, the stakes are way different. But look, one game at a time. We're going to focus on the Texans right now. And like I said, guys, earlier this year, the Jaguars got smoked by the Texans. 37-17, the Jaguars lost by. And I actually did wind up rewatching this game. And I kind of forgot how funky this game was. So I'll give you a little bit of synopsis of like what happened and really just how the score got so out of hand. So the Jaguars opening drive, McManus wound up, or actually before that, Calvin Ridley dropped a wide open touchdown pass. Look, it was a beautiful ball put right on the shoulder of Calvin Ridley. You couldn't have thrown it any better. Trevor was about at the 50-yard line, and he drops it. And the Jaguars wind up not getting a touchdown, so they had to settle for a field goal. And then when they kicked the field goal, McManus wound up missing a 48-yard field goal attempt. So first you left 7 points on the board, and then you left 3 points on the board, and then now it's 0-0, and you're giving the Texans the ball at midfield. The Texans, on the very next drive, scored off of a coverage bust to Tank Dell, where Dell got the ball to the 1-yard line, and then Damian Pierce ran it in for a touchdown. So at that point, it was 7-0 Houston Texans. Right after that, the Jaguars drove to midfield. They had to punt, and then the Texans wound up punting the next drive. So the Jaguars get the ball back, and they drive downfield, and another field goal attempt for Brandon McManus. And then, unfortunately, that kick was blocked. And the Texans, once again, get the ball at midfield. And keep in mind, side note, McManus has been awesome this year. Those are the only 2 misses for McManus on the season. Since then, he's been absolutely perfect. So, yeah, the Texans get the ball at midfield, and then the Texans scored a touchdown. So now, all of a sudden, the Texans are up 14-0. And then the Jaguars go midfield, and then they punt. The Texans get a 3-and-out. They punt. And then the next set of drives, Agnew fumbles the ball in Texans territory. Texans get the ball back, and they get a field goal drive. So they're up 17-0 at halftime. And then, look, the Jaguars get an opening drive touchdown to start the second half. And then the Houston Texans get a 3-and-out, and then the Jags kick a field goal. And then the Jaguars, all of a sudden, it's a 17-10 ball game in the third quarter. And it's like, okay, this is a game again. We're going to be able to get back in this. We've seen the Jaguars get down 17, have comebacks, and this is week 3. So we were very familiar with what was happening in 2022 when we would get down 10, 17, 20, or how about 20, 7 points in a playoff game. We're used to being down and coming back. We're saying, look, this is our game. However, the play that everybody wanted to forget about and probably the lowest point of the Jaguars, really the worst play they had this season. The Jaguars kicked the ball off to the 10. The fullback or tight end or whatever it was, like fumbles the ball at the 10, but then he picks it up and returns it for a touchdown where Trey Herndon over pursued his gap. And then all of a sudden, that was when it's 4:20 left in the third quarter. The Texans are now up 24-10. So it's like, man, like that is such a difference. 17-10, getting kicking the ball off. You hope your defense gets another big stand. And then now it's 24-10, and then the Jaguars had to get the ball back. And then on the very next drive, Trevor Lawrence throws an interception on third down. So, man, we're looking at this game, and you have a drop touchdown, would have put you 7-0, get you a lead. You never know what happens after that. And after that, missed field goal, blocked field goal. You get a fumble. Agnew fumbles the ball. You get this return for touchdown, and then the Jaguars throw an interception. You know what I mean? So everything is going wrong for the Jaguars at this point. And then, look, the Texans go up with a field goal, 27-10, with 12:36 in the fourth quarter. And the Jaguars actually got a touchdown, 27-17, with 10:40 left. So the Jaguars actually had a 10-point deficit with 10:40 left in the game. So it's actually a decent amount, of time left. And then on a 3rd and 3, Texans get the ball, and with 9 minutes left, they score wide. Like Tank Dell runs wide open, major coverage bust, and it was a 68-yard touchdown for Tank Dell. And at that point, 34-17, 9 minutes left in the game. Game was over. I mean, there was a little bit scoring left, and then the Jaguars just wind up losing 37-17. So when you look at this one, like, I came back thinking in my mind that the Jaguars just played this awful game, that it was just not a good game for the Jaguars. But really, when I look at it, I forgot about how many just self-induced penalties the Jaguars have. It wasn't like the Jaguars weren't moving, or self-inflicted mistakes that the Jaguars have. It wasn't like we weren't moving the ball. It wasn't like we weren't getting in scoring territory. It was just like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And it was just happened to be one of those days. And the Jaguars, we felt bad about it because, the Jaguars dropped to 1-2. And at the time, we thought the Texans were awful. We were like, we just lost to an 0-2 Texans team that is not good. And now we're 1-2. We're no longer first place in the AFC South. I think it was like the Colts were 2-1 at that point. And it was like, man, like, what the heck happened to us? Like we were getting 2018 flashbacks where you get a nice playoff run, you think you're going to run it back, and all of a sudden it was like, what the heck happened? What the heck happened? The Jaguars go to London, win over there, and then that's when like the whole 5-game winning streak happened. And from after starting off 1-2, we're now looking back and we're 7-3. So we're 6-1 since that Texans game. So we're clearly a much better team. And when you look at the Texans, Texans have a really good team. They are definitely probably the hottest team in the AFC right now. When you look around at different, if you were to poll every the fan of every AFC team out there, probably the Ravens right now feel the best about themselves with, a healthy Lamar Jackson. He is by far the best quarterback in that division right now with both Deshaun Watson and Joe Burrow hurt and whatever the heck Kenny Pickett is out there. And so you look at the Ravens, and then you probably look at the Texans. The Texans are feeling really, really good about themselves. They weren't expecting much this year. And look, they have a franchise quarterback. Look, CJ Stroud is the truth. CJ Stroud is a very, very good quarterback. Look, 2,962 yards on the season, 62.8% completion percentage. His 17 touchdowns to 5 interception ratio is very good. 3 of those interceptions coming just this last Sunday. And, you look around, the run game is getting better. Feels like ever since Pierce went down, Singletary has really filled in nicely to the role and actually might be better than Dameon Pierce, which is crazy look back on because Pierce had such a good rookie year and Singletary was just kind of not really finding his footing over there with the Bills, but now he's playing really well. But really the CJ Stroud, his weapons are pretty nice. I mean, Nico Collins is having a good year. Tank Dell is having a good year. Noah Brown is having a good year. Dalton Schultz was a really good acquisition. And look, everybody, they want to pump up CJ Stroud because, oh my gosh, this guy has no help around him. Look, these receivers are pretty good. Tank Dell, really good draft pick. And it's just everything's filling in nicely with this offense and things are really rolling over there. And defense-wise, look, Blake Cashman, really good linebacker. He's coming on. Jalen Petre, Will Anderson, who they traded a first-round pick to move up for at number 3 overall. And then Derek Stingley is going to be back this game. He was not there in week 3 against the Jaguars. So, yeah, lots of Texans are playing good. Like I said, they are 6-2 since starting off 0-2. So, we're playing a tough team. And look, with the Jaguars, this is just an awesome opportunity. I mean, this really is. Like, we kind of wish that maybe this year it would be a lot easier. We were hoping that, look, the Jaguars at 7-3, maybe the next best team would be like 4-6, as the AFC South team struggled, but it's not the case. We're having to kind of sweat a little bit. But look, this could be the start of something really, really special. This CJ Stroud versus Trevor Lawrence thing is going to be something that hopefully, it's on Sunday night and Monday Night Football, going forward. We hope that this is one of the next best big quarterback division rivalries. I mean, wouldn't that be really, really cool if we had something like that within our division? Because you look at it, AFC North is so cool with Joe Burrow versus like Lamar Jackson, and the NFC East with Jalen Hurts versus Dak Prescott. Look, those kind of matchups are really, really fun, and we have a really cool opportunity here in the AFC South to get that going. And look, this is also the Jaguars' opportunity to establish dominance in your own division. Look, there is no excuse to this game. Look, week 3, you can say like, look, we weren't expecting all that. We came out, sleeping, whatever. We focused everything on the Chiefs. You can say the 49ers game. Look, we're on a 5-game winning streak coming off of a bye week. We went against a team that wanted it more. This game, no team should want it more. The stakes are equally as high for the Jaguars and the Texans this game. And look, the Jaguars just need to establish their dominance on the AFC South. This is our division. It's time to freaking prove it. Because if you lose this game, you're sitting here scoreboard watching the Texans, hoping that they slip up while you have to basically be perfect down the stretch. Stakes are so high. This goes from maybe being like a 5 or a 4 seed in the AFC playoffs where you have to travel to wherever to play, to potentially being able to get the opportunity to get a number 1 seed and actually having a legit playoff bye week. You know what I mean? So This is huge. The Jaguars, I think, needed that 49ers game to wake themselves up and realize that, look, we cannot be sleeping anymore. And it kind of humbled themselves a little bit. And I think they needed the Titans game to really show that what this team can do and what you can do to teams in your division. And this is a revenge game. Look, this team came to your house and embarrassed you in week 3. You guys had way too many errors all over the field, and you now have no excuses. Look, the offense is a full go. We have all our weapons out there. We can throw to Ingram. We can throw to Christian Kirk. We can throw to Zay Jones. We can throw to our boy, Agent Zero, Calvin Ridley. Everything is out there available for you guys. So we need to go out there and take advantage. The only player that's really hurt right now that probably won't go is Tyson Campbell, who re-aggravated his hamstring. So with that said, man, our offense is a full go. And remember, guys, I was saying back in September and October, when the offense was struggling, I was saying, guys, right now, it's not that important with the offense. We don't need to get clicking right now. All that matters is that we're getting W's, which the Jaguars were. But I got a little bit nervous in November when they finally played against the 49ers and the offense looked as bad as it did. And I'm like, okay, maybe this offense will never get going. But last week, we saw what the offense can do. We saw what Trevor Lawrence can do if he actually gets some protection. We saw what can happen if we have a full arsenal of wide receivers out there. And honestly, the running game wasn't even doing much that game. Look, the Jaguars offense can do really anything. If sometimes the passing game isn't there, the run game is there. Travis Etienne is just as good as he's ever been. And look, guys, now it's time to turn up. Now it's time. We're getting down the stretch. We have we have a Sunday night game, a Monday night football game. We got some big time games coming up, and it all starts this Sunday against Houston Texans, where, a win can help us potentially get the number 1 seed, and it will definitely help us win the AFC South. So we just have so much at stake here, and there is no excuse to not be motivated for this one. There's no excuse to not go out there and play your best football. My different keys to victory, look, affect CJ Stroud. Get some pressure in his face. Look, I know everybody's just been stroking this guy like crazy, and look, he's been impressive and everybody loves him. Everybody in the media loves him. But look, he threw 3 interceptions last week. He lost this Bryce Young 4 weeks ago. Like, let's not act like, he is the greatest thing ever right now. And look, he's a rookie and he's having a great, great year. But at the end of the day, he is still a rookie. He still doesn't have all that NFL experience. And right now we're talking like, is CJ Stroud better than Trevor Lawrence? This game, we stop it all. Look, he has a potential to be better than Trevor Lawrence. And quite honestly, he's had a better year than Trevor Lawrence. But in a big-time football game, in this kind of moment, we've seen what Trevor Lawrence can do. He can rise to the occasion when his back against the wall. We haven't necessarily seen that out of CJ Stroud, but now's the time for Trevor Lawrence to shut all them up and kind of in that debate on who's better. So, yeah, like I said, affect CJ Stroud. And I honestly think it's going to be a big ETN day. Look, ETN has been quiet the last 2 days. And I think right now they're going to be probably focusing on how to stop this passing attack. And I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for Travis Etienne to go off. I really think that he gets over 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns this game. I'm predicting that out of Etienne. And look, just mistake-free football. I went over what happened in week 3. Just mistakes all over the place, from drops to fumbles to interceptions to missed field goals. And all that. It was bad. It was bad. Houston Texans won. They were the better team, but I will say that the Jaguars definitely beat themselves in a lot of ways. And I don't like saying we beat ourselves because I feel like that's a real discredit to the other team. The Texans played really good that day, but the Jaguars 100% shot themselves in the foot way too much. So all that is going on. And look, guys, tomorrow it's Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to take this moment to just thank you guys so much for supporting me and this channel. And look, I know this year has been a little bit different with my channel. I've had a lot more sponsors come in, so there's been a lot more, sponsored, spots and advertisements on this channel. But just know that right now, guys, like the companies are kind of taking money away from ad revenue and kind of pumping that more into YouTubers. So I've seen my ad revenue really go down dramatically. So, for myself, I put a lot of hard work into this channel, guys, and just hard work into my life. Look, every morning, I wake up at 5 a.m. to study for the CPA exam, which is a rigorous exam that only has like a 40% pass rate. So I'm putting hard work into that. I work full time. After work, I cook. And then I basically have 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. to do YouTube. I don't play video games. I don't really watch like Netflix series. I don't do a lot of that. I take that time and I put it into this channel to, to really provide a cool service for Jaguar fans for, coverage that might not be out there and coverage that was not here before I came on YouTube. And, it's something fun for myself. And I'm glad that you guys are all out there enjoying it, and that, this could be a, fun hobby that I have that I can also monetize a little bit. So yeah, I just want to say that, very thankful to everybody for sticking around and all that. And I just, it's been a lot of fun this year, I will say, with the Jaguars being a winning team. I started this channel in 2017. So, it's fun in 2017, had a lot of down years. I've gone through the Foles, the Minshew, the whole entire Blake Bortles thing. Look, I've been through it all, but right now, Jaguars have a good quarterback, a good head coach. It feels like we finally built a good culture. So, man, this next 10 years of this channel should be some of the most fun out there. And look, I'm not going anywhere. Hopefully you guys don't go either. And I'm just really, really thankful for you guys. So finally, let's get into some predictions brought to you by BetUS. Like I said, guys, 150% deposit bonus down below. Put down $100. You're going to see $250 show up in your account. And I predicted the Jaguars win this one 27-17. Look, the Houston Texans, they're better than a lot of people think this year. They really are. But right now, the Jaguars just have a lot more experience. They're more battle tested at this moment. And I just have enough faith that the Jaguars will be able to, come in here, understand the stakes, and rise to the occasion. I have a lot of trust in this Jags team. I have all year. And like I said, the Jaguars are battle tested overall. And it's just going to be a really fun opportunity. I'll say this. Look, I have been talking a lot of smack, most specifically on the AFC South roundtable, which, by the way, if you guys missed out on the AFC South roundtable, I'll put the link to that channel down below. Look, in less than 1 day, we got 1,000 subscribers over there. I'm going to be live on that channel every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, holding it down for the Jaguars. You know what I mean? And look, I have talked a lot of smack about the Texans on that channel on Tuesday and just on Twitter overall. So if the Jaguars lose this game, I have to eat major crows. So I need the Jaguars to win this game on Sunday. And look, if you guys want to watch it with me, we will be streaming here. I'll have UCF Dad War, UCF Bro War, and me watch the game with you guys. So it should be a ton of fun. So with all that said, very long, very long preview video. But yeah, shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. And with all that said, let's freaking go Jags. If you guys can, drop a like for me and have a happy Thanksgiving. Go Jags.